just let me know when you're ready. All right, then let's get started here then. First of all, thank you so much for attending today. And for those who are not attending, thanks for registering to receive the recording. This webinar is all about our scalping service. So Darko won't be here for this one, but he wanted me to say a big hello to everybody and a warm welcome. And yeah, you know, my hope is that you see this as a beneficial opportunity for you, because this is all about what the scalp service can do for you, and if this is the kind of thing you're looking for. I deeply believe that our approach, how we get into a trade, how we manage trades, the way that we handle the whole thing will be beneficial for you, and you'll see it. I'm going to show lots of stuff here, and of course, I'd love to be your trading coach. You know, that sounds like that. That sounds like the coach is on The Voice on TV. I'd love to be a coach. You've got a good range and a nice tone. And anyway, no, seriously, the idea here is to help you transform basically from where you are now to where you want to be. And I'd love that opportunity to help you. So this webinar just simply about showing you what we do, and then you take it from there. Before I start, even though I'm sure everybody knows that there are risks involved in trading, the ex-broker in me needs to read out the little disclaimer here, and just that the products referenced at this site are analytical tools only, are not intended to replace individual research or licensed investment advice. Unique experiences and past performance do not guarantee future results. Trading currencies involves substantial risk, and there's always the potential for loss. Your trading results may vary. Well, they will vary. They always do. Everybody's results vary. No representations being made that these products and any associated advice or training will guarantee profits or not result in losses from trading, and never, ever, ever, ever use anything other than risk capital for trading. Okay. You know, I'll tell you, despite the formality of those words, I really do want you to take the advice seriously. There is no reason that you should ever allow yourself to be financially hurt by trading. Okay, we don't want that at all. Nobody needs that. So start small with micro lots, and until you've proven to yourself that you can be consistently profitable. All right, good. Enough said. I think most of you know me. If not, I'm Vic Noble, and I've been here at Forex Mentor since the beginning of 2006. And before that, I was a futures broker for 5.5 years. I know some of you have been around Forex Mentor since then. And if so, you'll know that what I teach has always been centered around the concept of trading at key levels of support resistance. Okay, and it's the same with our scalping service. And shortly, I'm going to show you exactly how we use time frame combinations to come up with great scalping opportunities, just so you can see it, see if it makes sense to you and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to show some trade management protocols that I recommend, especially for beginners, once we're in a trade, what to do. And on top of that, I'm going to show you a new trade entry technique. We just started using it actually on Monday, just for trading momentums, like for trending, when markets start to trend. So we'll get to all of that shortly. Everything that I want to go over today with you is basically, like I say, just about showing you what we do and what to expect. Okay, and just ask me questions, because I want to be as clear as I can about what we do so that you understand it as best you can in this webinar, and that you have the right expectations going forward. Okay, let me just put my screen on, because somebody just said to me, put your screen on. Sorry about that. I'm going to back it up one slide here. That was the disclaimer right there, so you can pause it and read that. Thank you, Dawn, I appreciate that. Geez, I've done that before. I went through a whole, like 5 or 10 minutes in a presentation before with no screen, showing all these great examples. What I want to do now, just before we get looking at charts and that, is just address some of the common problems. And I've been doing this for a very long time. And this is not an exhaustive list by any means. It's just a couple things. But most traders have these issues. And by identifying them and getting a firm grip on them in the first place, you have such a better chance. It's critical in getting things turned around to the positive. And when I'm talking, I always assume that most of you are not yet consistently profitable. or that you want a different time frame combinations. So you're looking to look at maybe scalping, and so I want to help you change that if I can. These are in no particular order, but every one of them needs to be dealt with, and I figured and that it'd be just good to go over them quickly, and you need to get them figured out before you start trading. This first one, no clear trading plan, is super common, and it kind of goes hand in hand with system jumping, you know, trying one thing, quitting, starting another one, and it's just a direct road to failure. You know, it really is. And I think it happens because traders always think that they're missing something, they're missing out on something, and that there's something better out there. The problem is that it's almost never the system, and instead it's almost always the trader, you know, being susceptible to things like boredom or not enough action, or say you have several losing trades in a row, so you think it's, you know, a lousy system and you lose faith, or you have crappy trade management, that kind of stuff. So whatever trading plan they had or thought they had soon falls by the wayside, and they go off the rails and they start abandoning their original plan, and that's when the trouble starts. So this is why we have trading rules, okay? And our rules are posted on our members site, and the rules, what you can do is take those rules and, you know, form them into the basis of your trading plan. They don't, you know, there's always a bit of leeway in things, and that's fine, but the basis of it all is in the rules that we have posted. If you have a trading plan that's too subjective, you know, can be an issue. Here's the thing: we trade pretty much 100% technically. We don't use any indicators, zero. I'm not saying that you can't. I'm just telling you that we don't, and you don't need them. And if you have a plan that has too much subjectivity, maybe there's conflict between signals and price and all that, and too much room for interpretation, then you end up with internal conflict, right? And that's tough. So again, what we have are a set of rules, and we have them posted in our members area, and you can just, well, we always want everybody to go in and definitely read them all over and get familiar with them. Now, that doesn't mean that there is no subjectivity in our trading. That's not true. There is a little bit. So for example, even though we don't trade based on fundamentals, we certainly do pay attention to news releases. All right, the red flag news that comes out on Forex Factory. That's forexfactory.com is what we watch. And we'll just stand aside at certain times, even though there might be a really nice clear trading setup. Or maybe we're coming up to rollover, which is 5 p.m. Eastern time, when one day starts and the next day begins. Spreads get stupid at that time, or they can. And they can get really wide, 20 pips or more. And you can get whipped in and out of the market in a heartbeat. So even though there might be a good setup, we might stand aside. Or maybe there's enough, sometimes there'll be some ambiguity in a setup. If that happens, pass. You don't have to trade, make it clear. Or maybe it's late in the day on a Friday and we don't want to take on a new trade and hold it over the weekend and all that kind of stuff. So that's the kind of things. Not enough quality trade setups. You know, this is all about being impatient and getting bored and disinterested and losing faith. And the problem is that we can never force the market to do anything for us, right? And if there's no setup, there's only one thing to do, and that's nothing. You know, you got to sit on your hands, and it's tough to do for a lot of traders. And that's why we talked about getting the scalp service going. A lot of people wanted a service like this that was a little more active, so we started it last November. But you know, you got to do it in the right way. So if you want a more active trading approach and more frequent setups, like pretty much daily, then you'll find them with the way that we scalp. You still need to be patient, you know, but there's going to be more setups. Okay, and maybe you've seen the YouTube videos that I've put out. I could be putting them out every single day. You know, but it gets to be a bit much for, I think, for everybody. And but you've probably seen how often these scalp trades set up. Trading is you know, a lonely business, you know, and there's no one to talk about if you're just trading on your own, or nobody to answer questions. And we all know this, right? Anybody that's been doing it for some time. So we have our live chat room, so that even if I'm not there, it's always open. You can always bounce a trade idea off the others, because they should all be on the same page, looking at the same rules. The only thing that I do insist on, and is that whatever you talk about is an application of the trading rules and the methodology that I teach. I don't have indicators. I don't want to see trades say, hey, you know, the stochastic's doing this and the parabolic is doing this. No, I don't want that in there. And it's not because I think I'm so great, okay? It's because I cannot have people posting trades using some other stuff that I don't cover, or it's just going to be, I mean, just imagine it. It's going to be overwhelming. It's going to be confusing. It's going to be distracting. It's going to be chaotic and all that. So, you know, but the nice thing is that being in a chat room with other like-minded traders is a nice feature. And that's what we want. We want people to be able to help each other out. I think there's a lot of comfort in that, and we sure have some really nice people in our chat room that understand what's going on. Both our day trading and our scalp chat room, by the way, we're really lucky that way. We have a really nice membership. People are very respectful. We sure appreciate that. Lousy trade management, geez, you know, this is a problem I just have to mention. I know we sound like a broken record with this one because we talk about it constantly. And I'll say it again, trade management alone, just trade management, can turn your trading around. We have a suggested way to handle your trades. Sorry, I'm just reading a text. You know what? If you just, I'll get to questions and comments in that rate. Maybe I'll go through this stuff first, okay? Yes, Mike, I'll just answer that quickly here. Is the chat room uniquely available to CC member folks? Yes, it is. Only to CC member folks, because yeah, it's part of the package of our service. So it really is, though, and we have a suggested way to handle your trades, which works really well. I will say that trade management is more of an individual thing. It's going to depend on your risk tolerance, especially when it comes to taking profits, or how conservative or aggressive each person is. But the protocols that we have, you know, that I've posted and suggested are a great place to start. And I really encourage everyone to use them. And then once you gain more experience, and then, you know, you're going to develop your own unique way of doing things, which is great. And then you can adapt them to your own preferences. Okay. And I'll show you some examples of how we manage a trade in just a bit. So yeah, those are some of the more common problems and issues that struggling traders have. And I'll guarantee you that if you are struggling now, some or all of those issues are what are holding you back, something or some combination of it. And, you know, one thing about scalping is that you're going to find is that it addresses a lot of these issues in a hurry because there's more trades. And I mean, good quality trades. So you get more immediate feedback. And for most people, it's helpful to get more feedback sooner rather than having to wait for months with a longer term system, you know, trading higher time frame approach. Okay, you all with me so far? Everything's A-okay? We have, how does your daily routine, I'll look at that in a minute here, okay? Just remind me about that later in case I skip past it here. Before we get to the charts, I'm going to show you a new trade setup that I just introduced our members to on Monday. It's not actually new to some of our members, and I'm not the one that came up with this. It was Darko. You guys, most of you probably know Darko used to be a student. He was a Coach's Corner member for a long time, and he's become a very, very good trader and a really good analyst. And I've learned stuff from him. He's done a tremendous amount of back testing and all that. But anyway, he did a lot of back testing on this pattern, and it's really a great trade setup, and it happens quite often, quite frequently. And it's a great way to trade momentum once price starts to move away from a level. Okay. So together with our regular setups, you can see that there's going to be lots of trading opportunities. Just something to think about too, just before I move on here. One thing you should not do is try to trade all the currency pairs using these patterns. I mean, you'll go nuts and you'll have problems and you'll miss trades and you'll over leverage and you'll all sorts of things. So until you get really, really good at seeing everything, just pick the pattern that you like the best, and only watch for that, and only on the pairs that you want to trade. Okay, and I'm dead serious about this, and you'll probably be wishing you'd taken my advice if you try to do it differently. You know, I remember Darko, when he was struggling, he was going to quit, and he said to me, you know, what do I need to do? And, you know, I said, well, what do you see easily? And he said the Vic trade. So he traded the Vic trade on one currency pair, the Aussie US dollar, for one whole year. That's all he did. And he had a fantastically good year of trading. And it completely revolutionized his mindset. It completely changed it. And that's how he became such a good trader. But that was hard. He had to go over 2 weeks sometimes with no trades because there was no Vic trade set up. So anyway. Okay, let's move on here. I'm going to show you a couple of our regular trade setups. And then I'm going to show you a few of the momentum trade setups and that Darko introduced a few years ago. Just to give you, and you know, maybe you've seen the YouTube videos that I've done, but you know, I'll just show them here to you and how we analyze things. Somebody asked me about, well, how do you get a trend bias? So that's important as well. This is a Swiss yen trade that happened. You know, I could have done some more recent ones because they happen all the time, you know, even more today and every day. So, but I just screenshotted these at the time while I was making up this PowerPoint. But we have a weekly chart in the upper left and a daily chart here, and then a 4-hour chart in the lower left. And then our entry time is the 15-minute on the lower right. And the most important is the daily 4-hour. The weekly is just kind of get a general picture. You can see this is in a big, huge range. Okay, that's what was happening. And this level right here that I've got marked, you see this? Well, first of all, let me back up. This price action where price went up here and closed above this highway up here was bullish, and then this happened and it closed below this low. That gets our attention. That's not good to see. It's a negative thing. So I was looking for resistance levels. This is a really good level right here, and the reason it is because of how hard it moved away from here once it had this little tiny rally. We always mark our levels on the closing price of the candles, and we have a tutorial on what we call, these are called significant necklines, okay? Or you can call them support or resistance or significant necklines. And so the idea is here, you can trade this either as a breakout. If it breaks above here, you might want to start going long, or a reversal. And I'll show you what happened on the 15-minute chart, which is right here on that at the same time. Price came down and it hit this level. And we had this little breakout in here. Let me just I'm going to go back 1 second here. 170.92. I'm sorry, I got the wrong. I'm looking at the wrong level. I'm looking at this. The level I'm looking at is 117.25, which, whoops, is right here. Okay, I'm sorry. As it came down, this was an expected level of support from here, and this was a trade off at the top here. I don't know that I had that trade on here. This is, I'm sorry about the confusion. This is where it was looking as a possible bounce back up or a breakout short because of this negative action I talked to you about on the daily chart. Okay, sorry about that. You with me so far? On the 15-minute chart, look what happened when it came down and hit that level. We had a bounce. Okay, now here's something. This dotted line, this vertical line, is the rollover period. So you're like an hour before rollover. There was a profitable trade. The risk that you run at having a trade through rollover is that the spreads can get so wide they can actually whip down and stop you out and then continue. And once that happens, once we have this first bounce off of here, we usually like to take the first one, and then subsequent ones no. Okay, now it doesn't mean that they can't bounce and go up again. They can, but the first time back is our preferred entry right here. The next time, as you can see, it went through the line. Now this is a breakout. And when we start getting candles that establish below, we want to sell it back at our level of resistance, which is right here, and that's the subsequent move. So that's just a kind of a regular scalp trade that we take. And then moving on from this, on the British pound Japanese yen pair, if you look at this, is this an uptrend or a downtrend? Like, I think everybody can pretty well tell that's an uptrend, right? Without even having to know about advanced market flow or anything like that. It's an uptrend. So buying is a way that we want to be looking to trade. And as price pulls back, it hit a resistance level up here. And these lines, by the way, they're from a long time ago. They're not anything recent because there wasn't anything recent. Price hasn't been up here for a long time, like, I don't know, about 2 or 3 years. So we had to go back and find where can we expect there to be support or resistance when it goes up, or support when it comes down. And that's where they came from. If you look down at the, so this bottom line here, I want you to watch this one here. If you look down at the 4-hour chart and you look across, you can see what a great level this is right here. Because why is it so good? Because look what it did. Like when price hit this, I mean, it just went straight up and stayed up here, and finally it came back for the first time. And here's the 15-minute chart, and there's where it came back to right here. So that's another place that you can just, we can just buy it flat out right there. And that had a nice bounce. That had about a 3-to-1 reward risk bounce on that. Okay. Let's go look at some examples of these momentum trades here. And these are the ones that Darko came up with. So full credit to him for these. And these trades here are, just one sec. Had to cough there. So here's an Aussie US dollar trade that happened last week. So you can see what happened right here is that price went way up and it came way down like this and broke below this low and closed and rallied and then had another hard drop. This is a very good level right here because of what it did. Look at how hard it came down. It was lower highs and lower lows. It broke this swing. That's a strong level. We want to be on alert for selling up in there if we get a setup because of the fact that the daily chart is starting to show some negativity. Okay. So when price got up here, I'll go to the 15-minute chart now. It was up in the upper left here. And actually, you know, there was even a bounce off of this line to the upside. You can see that. So there could have been pips to the upside, but because of the structure of the daily chart heading down, it's more like we got to watch out for a selling opportunity. Going long, just be very careful, be right on top of your trade management. But this move from here down to here was very telling. And then we had this rally and another huge drop like this. This becomes a sell the rally here now without even getting back to this level here. And this trade, one thing about these momentum trades is that there are different places you can take your entries at. This is what Darko found. He's got a very simple way to do it. But I like using levels of support resistance in here on the 15-minute chart. That's fine. And then we don't use a natural stop. Like in other words, we wouldn't put the stop above here. We use what's called a volatility stop, which I've used for many, many years. Shirley Hudson and I used it in our London close trading service, and it works really well. And just, you know, it just takes the 5-day average, and 15% of that is what we use for our stop. And it's a pretty good stop. As good as anything else. And then this was the move down on that one. So that was a really nice trade on that one. Here's a counter trend trade. Now, listen, you know, you're always going to have your easiest trades or your best trades or whatever with, I shouldn't say always, but usually when you're trading with the trend, you can also take counter trend trades. So in a case like this is a Euro Aussie, which has been in a big downtrend on the weekly. It's been in a big downtrend. See, it's just making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, and just going down. This level here, even though you see I don't have it marked at the bottom of this candle, at the close of this candle, this is a fantastic level. If you go back about a year or two ago, I can't remember, it was a really good level. So we just wanted to see if price reacted around there. Well, it did. If you go to the 15-minute chart, it was right here. And here's that level. Even if you tried to sell the breakout, right, the way that we manage our trades, that was a profitable trade. Okay. However, and what happened then is it went flying back up like this, and this is the setup of the momentum trade. This big move down and a huge move back up. Now we want to be buying the pullbacks, and this came back right back to the to our support resistance level that was marked from the daily chart, and what a nice move up that was. So that's the way that these momentum trades work, okay? And so there's specific, you know, I think in all fairness to the members, I won't go over the details of it, but I mean, you get the idea that once you start moving and trending like this, you want to start buying pullbacks. for your next level up. I wanted to show you a couple of other trades strictly for the purpose of showing you how we manage them. Because look, I mean, listen, I want you to come away from this with something. And Gary's saying, was that a 62 fib entry on this trade here, you mean, Gary? On this last one? It was an entry at the, you can do 62% entry from the low to the high, or you can buy it back at the support resistance level here. It was from the chart. So that's what I mean. There's no right or wrong answer on these entries, but you can pick the one you want. Actually, I'll show you an example of it in just a second here. I want to show you, just so, like I say, no matter what you do here, you have something to take away with you here. And I think that trade management is one that I really am passionate about. And so no matter what you do, I want to give you something here. Let me see here that I think this can make a big difference in your trading. Let me show you the UJ trade first of all, right here. So this trade here, this is one that we had yesterday, and the trade was right here. So we had come up right here. Sorry, we had come up and hit. This is a level of daily resistance right here. Okay, this is also a counter trend trade, by the way, because the trend. Let me just go back here. This trend is up. This is the daily chart. That's an uptrend. Weekly chart up. Okay, so this is if you don't want to take counter trend trades, it's all right. Don't take them. But on the 15-minute chart, when we hit that resistance level on the daily chart, we had this really negative reaction, a rally and another drop. So we sold this rally up in here. I sold it right here. I hit it exactly at 108.70. One of our trade management rules. This is what I want to tell you. Whatever you risk, like in our case, in this one here, it was an 11 pip risk. Take a profit of 11 pips on half your position when you have it available, which I did. I got 11 pips profit. Then you have a risk-free trade. You can either put your stop on the remaining half to your original entry, or you can keep it 11 pips above and leave it and see what happens, because then you'll have a total break even, or something less than 11 pips if you want to lock in a couple of pips. Like I said, there's other ways to do it, but I always encourage, especially our newer members, to take a profit down here. Don't let it become a losing trade, or not even take a profit, but at least move your stop to break even, which would have got hit. Other people, one of the women in our room, her preference is to trade it at a deeper retracement, which would have been up in this level for her. I think it was a 79%, and that's the move. She would have done better. Sometimes you're not going to get a deeper retracement. Sometimes you are. And like I say, there's no right or wrong answer, but it's pick the one that you like. It wouldn't have mattered in this case. Both were filled. Both were not stopped out if you kept your stop up here. So that's one thing about trade management that's really important to see. Show you another one here. This was on the Euro US dollar, and this can save your bacon, I'm telling you. I've got this level marked in here. This level right here, this 118.23, and the reason I do is because one of our members wanted to buy it. See how it broke above here on the 4-hour chart? He wanted to buy it when it came back to here. Okay, because it's a pretty good level if you look left here. So what he did is on the 15-minute chart, it was right here, 119.23. So price breaks above it, had a nice swing break. So he buys it right here, and this is a break-even trade at worst. It never got up enough to be take a profit, but I want to show you something. And look at how long you're in this trade. I don't know how long. I don't know if he got filled here or over here. I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter. You're talking about several hours in this trade. That is not what should be happening. When you get into these trades, usually within, well, sometimes right away or half an hour to maybe an hour, they should be moving for you. And if they're not, don't lose money on the trade. Okay, those little things make a huge, huge difference in your results, I'm telling you. Okay, and a lot of people are reluctant to get out of a trade because, what if it starts to move after I get out? Hey, sometimes it will. Other times it won't. So, you're not going to get it right all the time, but it's all about capital preservation, because the good ones get moving for you right away. Okay, so that's that. Moving right along here. Oh, and I wanted to show you one more too. Well, I'll show you one more. On the CAD Swissy, was it? CAD Swissy, yeah. Yeah, here is another another trade that's set up on, you see this level here of support, right? Why is it support? Because this caused a reaction here. Now, it lasted for a couple of days and then it broke above it. So we want to see what happens if and when it comes back. Well, when it did, it came back to it. Now you'll see that that's 73.86. We make little adjustments based on the 4-hour chart support resistance levels. Now this is 73.86, but the better level to buy it is down here based on a really strong support level on the 4-hour chart. So that was the buy on this one. Never got stopped out, not even close. And it went all the way up to the opposing level. So what I'm getting at here is you can take profit of 11, this needed an 11 pip risk, take your 11 pip profit, leave the rest, and you're done. You can either put a break-even stop in or whatever, and it went up and hit the opposing level up in here. When you get these trades, even scaling it like that, taking 11 pips on the first half, there was 52 pips available on the second half. So even averaged out, it was a 2.8 to 1 reward risk trade. Those are pretty good trades. You know, that can really that's a really a big deal when it comes to, you know, averaging out your profit and losses in your account. So here's the thing here, and we'll just kind of get towards the end here. The nice thing about scalping is that you don't need a very big account. You can start with quite a small account because, as you can see, what I just showed you, the pip risk is small, like 11 pips, and sometimes it's 15. It varies depending on the volatility. If it's a more volatile pair, it's going to need a little bit bigger stop. As the volatilities decrease, then a little bit less stop. I never usually have less than 11 pips. Okay. By trading with small pip stops, here's the thing. You can trade more lots, okay, and still keep your same overall account risk. Say if you're trading 0.5% risk of your account. Well, when you have a small pip stop, you can trade more lots and keep your risk there. Okay, then if you had a 11 pip risk versus say a 30 pip risk, it's a big difference. So that means you can grow your account much faster. But as I say here, you can lose it a lot faster too if you don't know what you're doing. You've got to be careful with that. The leverage is a nice thing, but it goes both ways. And here's the other thing: when a market turns at a higher time frame, like on a daily chart or whatever, and you've drilled down to a scalp, you can get in much earlier on a move when you're using a small time frame with less pip risk. So you can get some pretty big moves, and that makes it quite attractive. Now, here's the downsides of scalping. You got to show both sides of everything, you know, so that you know what's going on. When you get into a scalp, things can happen in the first 15 minutes. So you got to be on top of that, be at your computer, or at least have access to charts. You can have it on your cell phone, and because you got to manage the trade, which is the way I kind of showed you there with that trade management. And if you don't do that, and if you are not around, and you can really have some losses in a hurry here. So you got to be knowing what you're doing and knowing how you're going to handle the trade once you're in it, and do it. Like don't leave it to chance. And you can also, if you're trying to cover all the pairs and all the patterns, what I was talking about before, it can be overwhelming in a hurry, and you don't want that. Okay. So here's what I do in this scalping service. And I've kind of shaped it a little bit since we started it in November, and added a few things and just to make it more streamlined. But I want you to know exactly what you'll be getting with this service if you do decide to join. Last week I think it was, I decided that I needed to make some changes for me that worked better. And because I live in the Pacific time zone out here, and it was I actually did a flash webinar for all of our members, which is I'll talk about that in a minute here, and I posted it in our members area here. But and I went over the reasons for the changes. But here's the deal: I'm in the room. I'm in the chat room. I'm normally going to be in there anywhere from about 5:30 to 6 a.m. Pacific time. So that's 8:30 to 9 a.m. Eastern time. And I'm there for 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever, which takes us just when I go just past the London close. And that's when things usually die down a bit anyway. While I'm in the chat room, obviously you can ask any questions you like. You can talk about setups that you saw that you want me to take a look at, even if they were from before I got to the room. Listen, getting your eye used to seeing these setups is really important. I'd be more than happy to answer them, go over them. And when I'm not there, you can always post the question in the room, in the chat room, and because usually somebody else is able to help out as well. We have some good traders in there. For these webinars, I'm going to start. I remember I used to do, for those who've been around a while, I used to do webinars every Monday and Thursday, every week with my Coach's Corner service. I did that for years. Well, we haven't been doing them for a while, but I'm going to start doing them again on Thursdays, which is tomorrow, for our members. So, and it's going to be, I'm going to have them at 3 p.m. Eastern time. It's just kind of the time that works best around the world for most people. They're recorded and archived, so you can always catch them if you can't make it. And then we can discuss trades that happen. I can take questions. We can look at charts, all that. I'm actually really looking forward to these webinars. We haven't done them for a long time, and I know that a lot of people found them, particularly helpful. Darko told me that it was like one of the main reasons that he started to do well. He really enjoyed them. So there you go. These video recordings here, I cover 9 currency pairs there. I used to do it on all 27. That's just ridiculous. It's too much for me. It's too much for everybody. You can't go through 27 pairs. It would take me 20, 25 minutes for the recording. That's a lot for everybody to go through. So I'm doing 9 pairs showing the levels that we can look to trade at. I'll usually talk about the trend bias. I'll make some comments on it. And it's all recorded, and then I upload that video to the members site, usually around rollover, 5 p.m. Eastern, when the current day ends and the new day starts. Okay. And these flash webinars are like during the trading session. In fact, we had one today. Somebody asked about a question about something, and I said, you know what, let's just do a quick flash webinar, and I'll set up a webinar just like we're in right now. And it's a lot easier to do that than to try to text and type and tell somebody what I mean and posting screenshots. Just open up. I can do this really quickly. Open it up. I record them, then I archive them, and anybody who's not there can go back and look at them. And then of course you have full access to the Telegram chat room. So here's a couple little artsy little slides that Vic Young put in here. Vic puts these. Thank you, Vic, for this. By the way, Vic puts these PowerPoints together for me, and then I put I give him the content, and he puts them together, and he does a nice job. I like the PowerPoint slides. What else we got here? So I wanted to point this out too. This, when I go through this, you might go and you say, yeah, you know what, this isn't really something I'm going to be able to do. Fair enough. Listen, we don't want you being in a place where it's not best for you. And if it's not, honestly consider Darko's Day Trading Academy. It's not when you have lots of time for these trades. They're not like you have to be right on top of everything, and it's not like that. He is. There's great education on price action reading in the Day Trading Academy. It's he's got a lot of tutorials. He's put a lot of thought into it, and it's tremendous education. It really is. And he's available a lot, like all of London, most of New York. He is a very, very good teacher. He's got a great proven track record, real time. He's been with me now in the Coach's Corner for like over 3.5 years. Okay, and he's got some really good stage 4 traders in the room there. So I'm just throwing that out there as an alternative. So here's the deal for the scalping. We right now our regular monthly rate. So if you want to go month to month, it's 97 for the day trading and the scalping. You can actually for 147. We call that CC Pro, and you can have access to both. And our regular annual rates are $9.97 for either service, or $13.97 for both for the CC Pro. What we're going to do is this, and this is a rate that Darko offered to his podcast listeners, and it's a, I mean, you know, this is a very short-term offer. It's going to be good till, like this works out to $62 a month for either our day trading or our scalping. $62. This is under 80. I think it's 78 or 79. We're getting access to both. So, you know, I mean, I don't know, I ain't a salesman, okay? So there you go. That's what the prices are. And so we're making that available. That'll be good till next Sunday. Okay, Sunday, what's that? Is that the 28th? I think it is. Let me just check my calendar here. Yeah, 28th. Okay, so that's good till next Sunday, the 28th. And the link for it is right here. And I'm going to just post it right here. You'll see it even says, in the link, it says CC Podcast. It's Darko's. Let me do this here. I can do this to all entire audience. There, you should all have received that there. Okay. Yeah. So let me take some, let me just go over that. Now, Wolfgang, you asked me, how does your daily routine work? Did I sort of answer that when I was talking to you? So I live in Vancouver. I get up at, well, I used to be getting up at 4:25 a.m. Honestly, Wolfgang and everybody, it got to be just too much. I mean, I have grandchildren. I have 3 of them, another one on the way. We haven't seen 2 of them for a long time because of this COVID. They live over on Vancouver Island. And so we haven't seen them since like last September, which is really a bummer. But we do see our grandson. He lives right down the road here from us. We've seen him since day 1 because we look after him once in a while. But anyway, that's fine. But getting up at that hour was making it a very long day for me, because you come to the evening and it's like, I got to, you know, spend some time with my wife and do things. And she's retired now, and, you know, looking to go on some bike rides and hikes and all that kind of stuff during the day. I'm also an avid runner. I run every day. And so, and quite a bit, sometimes an hour and a half or more in a day. I used to run a lot and competitively. So anyway, it just got to be very, very tiring. And, you know, this little adjustment made it much better. So anyway, I get up right now at around 5 o'clock in the morning, maybe a little bit later. And that's what I was saying. I'm in the room, you know, by 5:30, 6 o'clock, my time, Pacific time. So that's 8:30 or 9 o'clock Eastern. Okay. And then I'm around all that time, and I'm even around throughout the day. Like if somebody, you know, posts something on Telegram, if I'm around, I answer it, I get onto it. In the Asian session is dinner time right here, and maybe we're doing something else. You know, it's, so if I can get to something in Asia, I do. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that at around 2 o'clock my time in the afternoon, so I have to be around for that so that I can record and post the scalp levels for the next day. Does that sort of answer it? It's you guys, it's amazing, you know. I tell you something, I have incredible respect for Darko, what he does. I mean, he is an absolute animal with the hours that he keeps, and it really is impressive. He's so passionate about it all, which is fantastic. I'm so glad we brought him on board with us. And but it's a labor of love, I'll tell you. It really is, because you can. I mean, I've been doing this for many, many years, since 2006. So, you know, it's a lot of time at the controls here. It's a lot of, it takes a lot to put these all together. Don't forget, in the daytime, I'm also doing videos. If I'm going to post something on YouTube, maybe getting ready for a webinar like this, which isn't all that often we do these, but yeah, okay. But that's, yeah, there's lots going on here all the time. It's a lot of behind the scenes work that never is really known. So let me see here. I am with Darko. Would it be possible to spend 2 to 3 days with your program to see how it works? I don't know about that because I have to see how that would work with I'll have to check that leave that with me, Wolfgang, okay? Donald says, would you recommend going monthly and put our foot in the water and then come back later? You know what? Actually, that's a good question. Thanks. Here's something you guys can do. If you said, you know what, I just want to try this out. Let me just see if I can go back here. How come I can't go back? Oh, I got to go back to the power. Just a minute here. Yeah, if you wanted to say, I want to just try it out, what we'll do, I just talked to Vic Young about this the other day, is that if you say you paid $97 a month, then you said, yeah, you know what, I want to take the yearly out, then we'll apply to that 97 to this yearly rate. Okay? And so that's a way you could, test it out. Let me see here. Does that answer your question, Donald? Yeah, okay. And then Luca. Hi, Luca. Hi, Vic. I am a newbie in the CC day trading group with Darko. I am learning a lot and I'm committed to stick with it for a longer time. Would you recommend me to stick with one service until I get to stage 4 trader before joining the scalping? Or is scalping also good training for beginners? My honest answer to that, Luca, would be to stay with what you're doing. I think especially when you're a newbie, it'll get overwhelming in a hurry, and I just don't want to see that's when you want to give up, and just so don't. I would say stay with what you're doing. I think that if you're a good stage 4 trader and you really have things under control, sure, absolutely, you can pick up, because sometimes things get slow in the day trading. There's nothing going on, but there might be some good scalps going on. But I just don't want to see people get overwhelmed. My platform, Michael, is this charting platform here is TradingView. Actually, here's our Coach's Corners members area right here. You see down here, TradingView tutorial. This shows you how to set the whole thing up. I love them. I used to use IntelliCharts for years and years, which are good charts, but they don't even have close to the functionality that these things do. These are really good. I really like them. So, yeah, that's what I use. Yeah. I answered the questions here. Let me see here. Yeah, does that answer your question, Luca? I hope that is reasonably clear. Yeah, you're most welcome. Anybody else? Any other questions? Yeah. Well, listen, I tell you, if anything comes up. Oh, hi, Dinesh. I just saw you there. No more divergence pattern trading. No, you don't. Rodolfo, you could. I don't have it. I'm not doing it anymore because one of the reasons I made this to just change to pure price action is because it dovetails better with our day trading service. So if somebody's using both or maybe moving from one to the other, there's no indicator learning or anything like that. However, if you, I have a person in scalping that really likes divergence, and like I said to him, use it. There's nothing wrong with using it. I just have to stick to one thing in the room for everybody else. But certainly, I'd never be one to say, oh, you can't use that or whatever. Use what works for you. But everything, as you know, is centered around, price action, support, resistance, that kind of thing. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. So if something comes up after this thing's over, like I always tell everybody, just email me, Yeah. Oh, thanks, Michael. You're most welcome. Yeah, just email me, vicnoble@forexmentor.com. And if you can't remember that, I should have had that written down, I guess. But if you can't remember it, then just info@forexmentor.com and it'll get to me. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Change is also possible. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, great, Don. It would be great to have you with us. Look forward to it. And yeah, Wolfgang. Anybody that wants to change or any questions about subscriptions and all that, send it to Vic Young, and it's at info@forexmentor.com, because I don't look after it, and I just have to take it and forward it to him, and then there's delays and all that. So you're best just to go straight to him, and he'll look after it and get you all set up. Vic, am I forgetting anything that I was supposed to say or talk about, or I don't know? I think I got it all here. We are good, and Wolfgang, that's okay. Okay. Rodolfo says, I've been a little busy not following the service. I've been the pairs you can follow all the pairs, Rodolfo. Okay, you're most welcome, Gary. You can follow all the pairs. I'm posting these ones. I'm posting the Aussie yen, Aussie US dollar, Euro US dollar, Euro yen, British pound, US dollar, British pound yen, New Zealand US dollar, New Zealand yen, and the US Canadian. Okay, that's 9 instead of 27. And you know, it's just and then so I'd like, you know, those are the majors, and people can focus on those ones. And then if there's nothing really around happening, and then you have a look at some other pairs. And if you're not sure, post a question in the chat room, and I'll be happy to help. Or if somebody else is in there and I'm not there, I'm sure they'll help as well. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Wolfgang. Really appreciate you being here. Good night. And yeah, that. Don says you had a scalping course way back in the day. That was with Chris Laurie. Is that the one you're talking about? Yeah. Do some of those principles still apply? Yeah. Yeah. That was all price action, support, resistance trading as well. Yeah. Take care, Gary. Yeah. But you know, we've made some changes and you know, to more current conditions and other observations that we've made and things that we've incorporated. So it's just an upgrade on it. Yeah. You know, it's funny you asked that, Donald, because everything, like you can look back on the Vic trade, which I introduced in 2006. That trade works just fine to this day. The issue that a lot of people had with it is that maybe it didn't set up often enough. Like I told you about Darko, he went for a whole year trading it, and sometimes he had like 2 weeks of no trading with it. But it works. It's a pattern that sets up good moves, not, you know, a large percentage of the time. So, but yeah, this everything we ever did works fine. Yeah. Can you show us the member? Sure. It is right here. Okay. And that's right here. So right in here, we have, this is where I want everybody to start right here. Access the new member quick start guide. If you click this, here's all the stuff, how to draw support and resistance, criteria for drawing a significant neckline. This is really, just shows you the best ones to draw. Swing breaks and rotations explained. Advanced market flow. This is Darko stuff. Risk exposure. You know, trading probability and combining different trading styles explained. Pure price action trading. Entries, stops, and targets. Suggestions for handling red flag news. These are Darko's general rules for trade management. And we use some abbreviations, so there's just a list of them in here. Here's the patterns, the Super Scalp trading rules, the setups right here. I did a little diagram of them. And this is the advanced momentum trading that we showed here. Back on the main page, if I do screenshots, which I don't do much anymore because with scalping, it's just things happen too quickly, and so I usually post them in the room live. Latest scalping videos, these are the ones I do every day to show the different levels. Okay. These are samples. I'll post a sample of a trade here once in a while. These are these flash webinar recordings. If you go to here, you can click that. Here's all the flash webinar recordings we've had. Here's the one on the scalp service changes I was talking about. So you can go listen to those. And this is if you're for our Thursday webinar, which is coming out tomorrow, you just click on this, and then you click next scheduled webinar, please register right here. You just click that, and then it'll come up with a new page where you just register like that. Okay, now what have I done? There we go. And then this is the chat room. So this is where you download your chat room instructions, how to get in. And these are user guidelines that I'd like everybody to read as well. Oh, missing some things here. Is that all right there? Is it Torbjorn? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Okay, great. Michael says, Mike Guile, are you not using the divergence and P4 setups anymore? No, I'm not. I'm not using them as trade setups. However, you might see them as those setups, which is totally fine. I'm just using the pure price action, Mike, and then it like I say, it dovetails much better with our day trading room that Darko has, where there's no indicators as well. Okay, but yeah, okay. But if you see it as a pattern 4 or a divergence trade, perfect, no problem. Yeah. Yeah, anybody else got something there? Anything? Yeah. All right, well, that's an hour here pretty much. So I think that we'll cap it at that. Well, listen, thank you all so much for attending. I know it's a kind of a chunk out of everybody's day, and I appreciate that you took it out. And oh, thanks, Michael. Really appreciate it. You take care too. And I hope things go well for you and for everybody else with this whole COVID and yeah, getting over it all. So yeah, great, Donald. I look forward to having you with us. Hey, Saeed, good to see you as well. And perfect. Okay, can you define the various stages of traders you mentioned? Yes, there is what it is there's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4. The 4 stages of, you know what I can do? I could actually, I wouldn't post it in there. You send me an email, Michael, and I will, hey, Patrick, you're most welcome. Send me an email and I'll look at what I might even do is post it here under a resource or something like that. But sure, it's a good thing to read, by the way, or to listen to. Darko went over, this is his a video that he did a few years back on the 4 stages of trading. And it's really good. I actually think there's a YouTube video. Send me an email, Michael, and I'll dig it up for you. Okay, Vic Noble at forexmentor.com. Okay, you guys, carry on bravely, go forth bravely, and I love to see you with us. And if not, no worries. I keep in touch, and we'll always be here, be around. If you have a question, just let me know, and we'll take it from there. Thanks again, and thanks, Vic, for doing the recording.